And now to more details on our second leading story this morning. Announced for several weeks, the meeting between Charles Goude and Guillaume Soro have taken place. The two political leaders had not met since the crisis that followed the November 2010 presidential election in Ivory Coast. Guillaume Soro, a former prime minister, will contest as a presidential candidate for the October 2020 elections in Ivory Coast. He, for several months, has been trying to mobilize an opposition against President Alassane Ouattara. Ruth.
Eh bien, Jerry, les deux chefs politiques se sont...
Exactly, Jerry. The two political leaders met on Sunday, 24 November, in The Hague. A meeting initiated by former rebel leader Guillaume Soro, who is the candidate for the 2020 presidential election and who has for some time now been at war with the government of Abidjan. Is it a political rapprochement or something else? However, the former president of the National Assembly mentioned an approach of friendship and fraternity between two men who had spent time in prison when they were both students. This sparked several reactions in Abidjan.
With us now is Teddy Stanilas, the president of the Civil Society Association of Conscience based in Abidjan. It's good to have you with us, Teddy, and good morning and a warm welcome. First off, any surprise here for you, the meeting between Guillaume Soro and Charles Goude?
Well, for me, this meeting doesn't surprise me at all. We have noticed that in Côte d'Ivoire, alliances, greetings and approaches are always not genuine because Ivorian politicians are always acting. When their interests are at stake, you see them. When there is no interest, they are nowhere to be found. Goudé has been in The Hague for almost 8 years. You have Soro Guillaume, who has been in Abidjan since President Ouattara had been in power for 8 years. And we are in the 9th year. During all this time, what was Goudé doing in The Hague? During all this time, what did Soro do to help Goudé? Or even to tell the president who will have to act so that our brothers who are in The Hague can return? He has done nothing. Today it is because things are not going well between Soro, Guillaume and President Ouattara that is trying to create a rapprochement. So I say this is not genuine.
Monsieur Tebi, vous parlez d'un rapprochement contre nature. Ne faut-il pas...
Shouldn't this be seen as a real desire for reconciliation in any case?
De quelque chose de positif pour la Côte d'Ivoire?
Le vrai problème, c'est entre Gbagbo, Bédié et Alassane.
The real problems are between Bedi Gbagbo and Alassane. It has been the problem of Ivory Coast since the death of Biochini. The problems of the country are due to these three people: Gbagbo, Alassane.
Vous avez vu que le président Bédié l'a soutenu pendant 8 ans. Mais pendant 8 ans, nous n'avons pas entendu une seule...
So there has to be a reconciliation between these three people.
Il y a eu un coup d'État, où il y a eu une guerre qui se préparait, ou un conflit pendant 8 ans. Non, il n'en a pas eu parce que le président Ouattara a eu le soutien.
So look at this. During President Ouattara's 5-year term, you saw that Bedi supported him. And even for 8 years, and for 8 years during those years, we did not hear of any crisis. There is a coup, there is a war coming or a conflict. No, there were none because President Ouattara had the support of Henry Koning Bedi. That is what we want. Now President Gbagbo remains. For them to build a united Ivory Coast, an Ivory Coast that lives in peace, a stable Ivory Coast, these three leaders must reconcile. There must be a real reconciliation, a real national reconciliation.
Nous ne sommes pas en train de nous macheter. Le vrai problème, c'est entre trois leaders, Gbagbo, Bédié, Alassane, qui ont besoin d'être réconciliés. Ce n'est pas les Ivoiriens entre eux.
Tebi, let me ask you, what do you make of the call for an inclusive national meeting by the two men? What do you make of this call?
Mais justement, c'est ce qu'il faut.
That is precisely what is needed. This meeting will neutralize it a little bit. But if you have an IEC that is rejected by the opposition, what happens? The opposition says that this IEC is not to be trusted. The government in power says we want the same IEC. So there is a problem here. You see, the two parties are not agreeing. These meetings must be held so that the problems of Ivory Coast can be well addressed, so that we can go to the polls. The elections are only 10 months ahead. But for the moment, if we insult each other, we think about hurting each other and hurting others, we don't even consider the poor Ivorians, then that's a big problem. Everything that is happening in Ivory Coast today is political in nature. It is not of social nature. People die of hunger. People have problems. People can't afford to pay the school fees of their children. They have trouble even paying their own rent. Look at all these problems. You see, that's what we are talking about. We Ivorians are tired of this. We are tired. These meetings can bring up something positive if it happens. If people control their emotions, but if that doesn't happen, believe me, 2010 and 2020 will be similar.